Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Texas Wedding Podcast. We are lucky enough today to be chatting with Julian Lever of Julian Lever Events and LOO Power. This podcast is also going to round out our 4-week series on the people behind the scenes, the speakers, producers, and everything else putting on WIPACon. And so, yes, I am putting out 2 podcasts this week because I wanted you to hear from Julian before it actually starts. So if everything's on schedule, this will be going live about 48 to 72 hours before WIPACon starts. And I can't think of a better way to get us excited for this last hurdle before WIPACon than with Julian. His passion for the industry, his passion for sustainability in it, for both environmentally and mentally, his passion for the people in the industry and the people we serve in the industry, it's all just infectious. It's all just great. I couldn't help but feel lighter and smile more halfway through this conversation with him. And I know that y'all will feel the same listening to it. I truly believe Julian doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to read his bio anyways. With nearly 30 years of expertise in luxury event planning, Julian Lever Events is where impeccable design meets intentional preparation. Based in Dallas, but with a vision that spans the globe, Julian Lever Events caters to stylish modern couples and their families looking for expert-level guidance for the more than 3,000 micro-decisions that planning a wedding entails. Whether it's an elegant soiree in a 5-star ballroom within Texas or a multi-day wedding in Mallorca, the team produces signature events with the perspective and confidence of a seasoned team. Julian is also a co-founder of LOO Power, an innovative mobile, solar-powered energy solution designed specifically for events, offering a quieter and more sustainable alternative to traditional generators. Let's dive in. Enjoy this episode of the Texas Wedding Podcast with Julian Lever Events.
I say if you don't like this music, you don't be listening to it, you know I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, then you go somewhere but here, cause you know we're only losing control just for a minute.
What's the season like for you? We're recording this Monday, August 3rd. Are things slow and relaxing? Are things fast-paced in a whirlwind right now?
You know, that's a good question. I would say it's like a little bit of both, honestly.
Okay.
We did our last paying event on the end of June. So the last weekend of June was actually like the end of our spring season. And then our fall event season starts, I would say paid. It starts in September, right? And then an interesting turn of events this summer has been, there's been lots of kind of marketing and donated events. And so it has not been as slow, I think, as any of us had really had hoped for. Yeah. But it's been good. You know, I celebrated 10 years of Julian Lever Events in...
Incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you, in May. But then we actually had the party last week, which is...
Incredible.
So that was great. So that was kind of our July event. And then we're doing 2 big events in August, one for WIPA, the national conference, and then one for like a big fam that's for Rosewood Hotels and Resorts called Rosewood World of Weddings. And so that one's in August. So
incredible.
Yeah.
Which we actually just 2 episodes ago had Jordan Fothery on. And so he mentioned your name several times during that conversation. So it's good to have you on so quickly afterwards.
I know. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. And it's just been, it's been a fun summer. It's a summer of like seeing everyone, which is a lot of fun.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So often in the industry, we don't get to really see each other or actually get time with each other. Like on a wedding day, I might see you, but we'll get 5 minutes together. Like it's mostly chaos.
It's mostly chaos and running around. And then we're like, okay, quickly eat a French fry in the corner, while we're getting to the next thing.
Always.
Honestly, I'm pretty open, like you can hit me, Kevin, whatever you'd like to talk about. I'm pretty game for it. But
tell me the craziest stories from when you worked with sororities. I want to hear all of the, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, we can talk about them. We just won't use any names. I mean, the craziest stories from working with sororities, honestly, is like the places that you would find people passed out. Okay. In the weirdest places. Like people, I found someone passed out. They had crawled inside a 56 passenger bus baggage compartment and just like passed out underneath the bus. Okay. And then woke up like back at the bus facility. Okay. Had just like stayed passed out, stayed within the thing 100%. Okay.
No.
Like, missing in action, right? I have found people passed out underneath the band stage. And when they came to tear the band stage out, we found them like passed out, rolled all the way to the back of the band stage. Okay. People passed out in closets. People passed out everywhere. That is the story of sorority fraternity parties is who's the one that passed out and where?
Never would I have thought.
Oh, yeah.
Under the bus.
No problem. The rest of it, no problem. Gotcha. Missing people.
It's the kind of thing, if at an event it happened with a wedding guest passed out under the band stage, you'd be like, been there, done that. Not even a big deal.
Not a problem. We're like, please do not get totally black out and wander off into the like golf course and pass out. Okay, because we will not be able to find you until the morning. You know,
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Julian, I asked that question thinking it would be a total pass. That was unbelievable.
There you go. No names, because really,
no names.
I don't remember them. So it's like, who are you and why are you here?
Oh my gosh, you're like, yeah, and now that person who passed out on the bus is so and so, who's a planner, so and so.
Now, you know, fine.
Oh man, Julian, I messaged you about it forever ago. I was shocked to hear you had actually gotten started in the event industry from Greek life, because I did the same from like photo booths, fraternities, sororities, stuff like that. So funny, what a winding world, what a winding road takes us here. I don't know the saying. I'm trying to say a saying.
No. It is the winding road, right? And it's like one little decision gets you to the next decision, gets to the next decision, gets to the next decision. And I think like people ask me all the time, like, oh, well, what was your goal? And like, what were you like, what was the vision of all of this? Well, in a lot of ways, there wasn't one, right? It was just like, okay, well, this is cool and this works. And so this works, so I'm going to do more of that. Right? Until it doesn't work anymore. And then I'm going to change it and then like do more of something else. And it's like, it's always like a building thing. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you find yourself here, you know? And yes, there is obviously some like a little bit more strategy and a little bit more intention as you get older and you learn how to do those things. But in the beginning, it really is, you know, you follow the winding path of the way that it takes you. Right? Like you're just following the road and then you make different choices at each different juncture.
Yeah. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of your early career in the industry, you know, if we fast forward past Greek life stage, was in the hospitality hotels side of the industry. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
How did the years in hospitality really shape Julian Lever's events and what you're doing now?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that they really helped with navigating a lot of different sets of expectations.
Okay.
Because hospitality is interesting from when you're sitting kind of in the catering private event space, because you really are sitting in the chair that is all about communication. And so you're communicating on one side with all of the hotel departments, right? You're communicating with the valet and you're communicating with the front desk and the banquet staff and the rooms division and housekeeping and, right? There's all this. And the interesting thing about that is that if anything goes wrong in any of those departments, whether you work there or not, or have any ability to affect the outcome of what's happening over there or not, you are the person that the client is coming to, because you are their point person for all the other things that are happening on this side. right?
Yeah.
Of the event side. And so you have to learn very quickly to become a very good communicator with each of those divisions and understand exactly the language that they use and understand exactly the ways to affect change and to get the right outcome so that these go as best as you possibly can make them, so that then you are answering only for maybe one or two little issues and not 30.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't snowball into this and that.
So it
and
doesn't
this and that,
snowball,
this and that.
right? And so your entire job is moving information back and forth kind of from this whole side, which is like the vendor side and the client side and all of the different vendors that are loading in and what they need in terms of access and COIs and all the X, Y, and Z bits. And so you're communicating all of that information over here to these people and then figuring out what these people and the questions that they have and then communicating it all back. So you sit in a very interesting seat. And because then also in my career, that same seat with all that communication was also the seat where you sold. And in some hotels, it's that way. In some hotels, it's more like those two roles are separated. And so I'm thankful that I got to have those two roles at the same time. I don't recommend that because it really is quite overwhelming. But I learned very quickly how to multitask and how to shift and pivot and have these very important sales conversations and then also how to execute an event all at the same time. And so you take that knowledge and then you can apply it really to anything else in this space.
Yeah, I bet. I'm exhausted just hearing you say that.
It is a lot.
It is a lot. And it makes complete sense how you described that career in the hospitality industry, which I have never been a part of, hotels or the hospitality industry, how it sets you up for what seems like maybe the most intimidating part of being an event planner in my eyes, like the communication, the vendor relations, the client expectation, all those things. What a direct parallel.
Yeah, it is really very, very similar. And so you're in a sales role and also in an execution role. And so you need to figure out how to balance those and keep everybody kind of on the same page.
Wow.
Yeah, I always say, if you've worked in hotels, you can do almost anything.
And I believe it.
Yes.
Julian, this is part of the series that we've talked about, which is leading up to WIPACon. I'm bringing on some people who are producing events, who are main stage speakers, breakout, panelists. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all are doing both the Tuesday Night Gala and you'll also be a main stage speaker. Is that right?
That is right. Yes.
Okay.
Tuesday Night Gala and also speaking on Monday morning.
Monday morning. Speaking of multitasking and doing so many things, I feel like you do so much and make it look easy. Does it feel like that? I mean, it feels like just breezy. Like let's put more on Julian's plate. Let's do more events. Let's have him speak again. I don't know how you handle it all.
Yeah. It's a team of people who keep me very organized. Thank God for that. Yeah. But my brain has just always worked that way. I think, yeah. I mean, that goes back to like back of just kind of like childhood trauma and being able to like work, like keep busy because that's the way that I think, that like I've always expressed love or like how I feel about someone is like I work really hard for them, like I will like go to the nth, to get it done, and I think like clearly acts of service are like high on my list of the love languages, right? I'm like, let me show you, okay? Like all the things that I possibly can to make sure that you know that you're loved, and doing them, making that look easy. It definitely is not easy. I'll tell you that. Number one, like, truly,
I was hoping you were going to say that. Okay, like, I feel a little relieved.
It's so hard. It's a hard balance, right? Of like, keeping my professional life going and moving in the right direction, and then keeping my personal life going and moving in the right direction. And it's a lot of making sure that nothing is too precious. Okay, like there can be mistakes, and there can be there needs to be learning, and there needs to be always like pushing the boundary forward and being willing to let someone do something their own way right? As long as the result is the result that we're all looking for, right? And so there's like teams of people that help make all of this possible, none of which would be possible if I couldn't get out of my own way and if I wanted to micromanage all of those processes. That's not possible, right?
Wow.
I tried that. I will tell you, I tried that at the beginning. Was not a good plan for me.
Oh.
Because you can't do everything, right? You do have to at some point, like ask for help and then take the help that is offered and then move forward. And everybody does things in a little bit of a different way. But I found that asking for the help and then taking the help has been the most effective way to get it all done.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And not in every meeting.
Wow. You talked about just celebrating 10 years of Julian Lever events, and you talked about making that transition. Was it really early on? Were you 6 months into Julian Lever events and you're like, I can't do this, I'm drowning? Or was this something that happened more recently for you?
I think it's been like stages of that releasing process. Like in the beginning, 100%, it was more business functions, right? Like I should not do my own accounting, like somebody else.
Maybe an accountant should do my accounting.
Right? Like, cool. I can't do that anymore. Like I need to give that to this person,
Yeah.
Or I need someone to come in and help me like get more organized, right? Like maybe I have a system that seems to be working to me, but like doesn't make any sense to anyone else, right? So I had to bring someone in to help me get that organized and then move that piece forward, right? And then you grow a little bit more and you're like, okay, I like doing all of this marketing stuff is a lot of work. Like, is that something that I need to be really doing, or is that something that somebody else can do for me and do it better and more professionally? So you kind of offboard that over there, right? And then I think even in terms of like business functions within the business, like what's the client's feedback in terms of where we are in the process and how do they know about where we are in the process, and is the meeting cadence correct, and like is it good to have someone who's doing both planning and design, or should I separate those two functions? And like, how is it being handled with the communication in terms of access to budgets and budget updating and all of that? And like, does there need to be someone who's helping with all of that? So it's been an evolution, right? It's 10 years, nothing stays the same. And so you have to just keep changing or nothing changes. And so it's evolved into like what it's become now, which is like a team. There's 4 on my team plus me, so 5 of us that are like more permanent. And then there's like a team of consultants who help with all of the other things that I don't have the time to do.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I think so often things from the outside can look like so put together and perfect and nailed down. And just hearing you talk about the way it evolves and continues to evolve, and it's okay to be in process. I don't know. It's encouraging to hear. Thanks for sharing.
100%. You have to be in process, and you have to also be able to like take quick feedback and like make a change really quickly. Like we had something happen this morning that we were like, okay, the new standard is this. Like we can't deal with this anymore. Like no more of this nonsense. Like it's a process that's completely out of our control. Right. But we are ultimately the ones sitting in that fulcrum seat. Right. Like the vendor, it's their issue, but we do need to deal with it. And so how do we deal with that? We make this new standard and then we follow that standard moving forward, And
Wow.
You just kind of like try it out. I think also a lot of this business is trial and error. It's still trial and error because every event is different, right? Like it was exactly the same thing again and again and again and again. Okay, cool. Right? Like, and I always say that there's this like, there's a difference between etiquette and protocol.
Okay.
Right?
Tell me more about that. Yeah.
And so the difference is that the protocol of an event stays basically the same. Okay.
Okay.
So the protocol is like the bride walks down the aisle, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens, right? Or like there's a ceremony, then there's a cocktail hour, then there's a reception. So that's like the protocol of an event, right?
Yeah.
But then the etiquette within that event drastically changes depending on who is involved. So a different culture could be totally change it, right? Like who the actual couple is getting married, right? Is it a heterosexual couple? Is it a homosexual couple? Is it like two guys? Is it two girls? Like that, every little dynamic and every little family dynamic changes the way that the etiquette is handled in all of those different pieces. So the process is staying the same, but the little pieces and the decisions within it all change. And so that's what I think makes this job interesting. And that's why I think we all keep doing it and keep coming back to it, is that every event is so different because it is so hyper unique to the people that are involved in it. And that's the etiquette that changes.
Yeah. Yeah. This actually, I mean, it lands perfectly with something I saw on your website that jumped out to me, which I was going to ask you about. And I'll just read the quote. It's our signature approach, unmistakably your style. Oh, that looks like a Julian Lever wedding is not something you'll hear someone say. In fact, most couples engage our services for this very reason. And that just jumped out to me, like, because it felt very true. Like I see your work all the time. Whoever's doing your marketing is killing it. Like I see the work all the time. And that is true. It doesn't look the same every single time, but there's an excellence to it. And it sounds like it's in this piece that you're talking about that really there's the magic there. Like this is how you get the individual couples there. That was going to be my question on the quote.
Yeah.
Is there a secret sauce to you being able to pull those pieces from your client of like what they really want, what they're really desiring, and like making those happen in the design? Is there a secret sauce to doing that so well?
Yeah, there is. And I would say it is that. It's like, it is listening. It's really, really listening to them, right? And it is sitting with them in the uncomfortability of it. Okay?
Yeah.
Because you don't like, everybody doesn't nail it on the first try. Okay? Because the client sometimes doesn't know what they want.
Yeah.
They sometimes don't know. And so you have to like extract as much information as you can. You have to have all of these conversations with them about it. You have to go through kind of the paper process with them. You have to go through their Pinterest and their inspiration and all of those things. And then you have to like kind of try to condense all of that information and then present it back to them like what they've presented to you, which may or may not be what they actually wanted.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have to say, okay, like I have no ego in this process, right? Like we always say, we find the yeses through the nos. So you can say no as much as you want to. And that I actually think is the secret sauce, is finding the yeses through the nos, because it is a no and it's being okay and like having your ego removed from the process enough to say like, okay, cool. You don't like that idea. Great. We're going to put it back in our pocket and we'll pull it out for the next person that it maybe makes sense for. Right. But let's find the thing that is like the most important thing for you. And I will tell you, almost like 10 out of 10 times, the second try, it's like, bam, we hit it. Right?
You need to hear no. It's like you need to hear no.
You have to hear the no. And like, unless you are very well adjusted, like hearing that no again and again and again in different things is hard. That's hard. That's just the hardest part about this job, right? Is like removing yourself from it completely and like coming at this entire process with like a servant's heart, right? Of like, okay, no, I hear you. Because also we are meeting people who have been in relationships and families for like 30 years. They know what like sets these people off, but we have to like walk through the landmine of, like, I don't know. I did not know you cared that deep about that, you know, but that's because I only met you last week, you know, or I met you only like a month ago. So we're learning the process. Right. And so I think it's being okay with letting those things happen and being like, okay, we're going to get you there. We're going to get you exactly where you need to go. And now we can see it because now maybe you have the language to describe it to us, or now maybe you have the tools to understand how this particular paper thing works, right? Because also all of our couples are learning in real time how all of this process works that we do again and again and again and again. And so we have to do our very best to try to explain it to them on the front side and get them the information that they need and be really the best educators that we possibly can to avoid that. But it's not avoidable because you can't, because it's about emotion, right? It's about how you feel about something. And that I'm not a mind reader, unfortunately. I would be like a bajillionaire if I was, because it would make this job so easy. But that's the part I love about this job is like the uncovering of like what you really think. Like, tell me what you really think.
Yeah. Wow.
So
I love that quote. You get to the yes through the nose. Is that what you said? Was that it?
Yeah.
Get to the yes through the nose.
Through the nose. And like that's a million no's until the one yes. That's all you need is one yes.
And I feel like I could already see what you're talking about with a client. If they're seeing these ideas and no, and then like their eyes get big, like, yes, that's it.
Exactly. Or when they get so excited in a meeting and like, when they act like a little kid in a meeting, you know what I mean? Like you see like a 35-year-old and they're like, like the coolest thing, you know? And that's like the thing that gets us. And like we just had one of these meetings in New York this last week, and it was like she had not been excited about this process. It was like, it was hard for her. And that's through no fault of her own. Like sometimes it's just like about how you learn or how you process information or those things. Like it's a lot of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So then just see her in the meeting be like, yes. And I was like, yes, I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. But what I will also say about that is that she pushed until she got it where she wanted it to be because it's her fucking event. Like, and I think in this business, everybody needs to just sit down and remember this has nothing to do with us. We are facilitators of this.
Yeah. Wow.
That is what we are. So we should just
Julian, we should just have fun. Also, you have a gift as you're talking to like get me excited about like being in the process part of it. You know what I mean? A lot of people can talk about end results and get me excited about like, that'd be an amazing end result. The way you're passionate about like being in the process gets me excited about it. I feel like it. I mean, that's incredible.
Because that's the whole thing. Like the event itself is nothing, right? Like the event itself is the conclusion of like great decisions made along the way.
Yeah.
And if you make great decisions along the way in the process on the journey, then I always say this, the end is a foregone conclusion.
Wow.
Because then you know, you're like, this is going to be like epic. I just get to show up and have the most fun and not be worried about this because I know and I feel and I have confidence in the decisions that I have made throughout the process.
Yeah.
And it's weird, friend. Like, it's the only time you ever do a group project with your parents. Okay? Like,
and your parent in-laws.
Who is slacking off, all right? Like, I'm telling you, it's the only time. And you are doing a group project in like every area of your life, all right? You're like dealing with like a huge financial decisions together. You are dealing with like aesthetic decisions. Whose aesthetic are we going with here?
Yeah.
And how are we going to blend all these different aesthetics? And then you're dealing with family dynamic project of like who's involved and how are they involved and like what does that feel like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? So that's complicated.
Yeah. You're doing a good job like living in your client's head too.
Yeah, because like and honestly, me getting married helped with that.
Yeah. How long has it been now?
We've been married since 2022.
Amazing. Congratulations again.
Thank you. And you know, I tried desperately to plan my way out of the emotion.
Huh.
Because
what do you mean by that?
I didn't want to feel the emotions. I didn't want to be like driven by like emotional decisions. That's like the antithesis of who I am. I wanted to like plan it and make the decisions and like done, right? Like
spreadsheet, SOPs, done.
The hell out of it, you know? But that's just not how weddings are, right? Like there are other people involved, number one. And like there are different emotions and there are different expectations and there's different like things that we come at it with. And so it was good. It was a good lesson for me to learn that you cannot plan your way out of the emotion. You have to give space, and you have to like make a bad decision, or you have to be like, wow, how did we get here? Right? Well, we got here because of our decisions, like, well, shit. Like, can we change them? Is it too late? Right? Can we shift?
Yeah.
And also, do I need to remove my own self from this process? So
should I have said no more?
Yeah.
This is the wrong
exactly.
yes. I should have said more no's.
Said no more. Or I should have had this conversation offline and been prepared to come to this meeting and like give an actual answer, as opposed to like just being a pain in the butt, So it's a learning process.
Wow. It's a learning process. We're all here in process.
Yeah, it is.
Julian, I meant to ask you this earlier. I'm sorry to be bopping around different topics as we're jumping around. But when we were talking about WIPACon, we were talking about WIPA, which this episode will be going live just before WIPA. Can you give a sneak peek about what you will be speaking on?
Yeah. I mean, I'm speaking on something that I've never spoken on before.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's like, it's a little nerve-wracking. Like, I feel like even talking about it, it feels a little like butterflies in my stomach,
Okay.
But what I'm speaking about is the things that are unsaid, and the pieces of ourselves that we bring with us, right? It's the baggage, if you will, right? Of like, what do we bring from our past that got us to where we are now? And how do you harness the lessons that you can learn from the past and move them into the future, if that makes sense? If that's like not too vague of an answer without giving it away.
I was going to say, it's just a taste. We're not going shallow on Monday morning is what I'm hearing. We're diving into the deep end with you.
I'm sorry if you cry. Just bring some tissues, friends, in advance.
Bring tissue, drink an espresso in the morning, come ready to go deep.
Yeah. You just be ready to go a little deep. I think a little deeper, because I think there is some things in our, in this business, very interestingly, that we all come into this business with a different set of expectations. I say always that we're #children of trauma. And we bring in this like, you don't have a servant's heart or a heart for hospitality if you don't come from a place where your heart was hurt, I think, in my experience.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk a little bit about how do you bring whatever heartbreak you have and carry that through to giving to others.
Wow.
That's the goal.
Wow. I'm already like, what does that mean? What does that look like for me? What does that hurt? And how do I carry it? And how do I see it in other people? And incredible. Thank you for going deep and for sharing that.
You're welcome. Always.
You speak publicly. I mean, you speak frequently to large groups. Do you get nervous about it still? Have you ever gotten nervous about it? Or from day one, was it like, give me the mic?
It's kind of been from day one, give me the mic. I think I get more nervous about like, does the message hit? Did I like say the right thing? Did I convey my point in the most articulate way? I think that's really where my nerves are mostly, and have always been about I'll just tell you my process. It's like the most fascinating process of all time. Like, I have to I have to write it like under extreme stress, duress. And like, that is where I get the best work, which is in no way helpful, right? Like, to anyone, do not do as I do, friends. Okay?
Julian, have you started it yet?
Barely.
Okay. Last week I had Kate Turner on, and I was like talking about, I'm like, oh, I'm busy. I'm worried about what to do. I'm working on my outlines and having friends look at my outlines. And she said the same thing. She's like, I haven't even started thinking about
I'm not worried about it.
I'm so different than you.
I'm like, it'll come together.
I like 6 weeks ago was like, I should start working on my outline for that breakout.
Yes. And everybody has their own different process, but mine has always just kind of been that way,
Wow.
And I will tweak it the night before, right? Like sometimes there's been times where I've rewritten a whole presentation the night before because I'll go to rehearse it and I'm like, and this is not right. This is not right. Like this doesn't hit right, or the story is not quite the way it needs to be. And then I retweak it, and then the poor people in the AV booth really hate me because I'm like, you're going to need to unload that other presentation you had uploaded and reload this one.
Now this one, and also this video needs to play at this
like
point.
All changed, and I'm so sorry about that. But in the end, the result is usually better if I listen to my gut.
Yeah. You know your process. I can't wait to hear it.
Like, ugh,
it's a message you could tell you carry here. You know what I mean? It's not like let me get on Google and figure out what that means the night before. Like it's here.
It's here. It just needs to like be expressed outward.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes I have my marketing team do my slides, and I'm just like, I need you to make some blank slides that look pretty, and then I'm just going to insert all the information.
Type this here, move this around.
Exactly. The night before, I'm like, oh my God, I got to rewrite this whole thing.
Like, I need you to give me a blank slate, but make it pretty. I need a pretty looking blank slate. It needs to be
aesthetically pleasing, please.
Yeah.
It's the Libra in me, right? Like you guys need it to be aesthetically pleasing, and then I can be inspired to put the words on the page. So.
We can grow from there.
I mean, I could just start a couple weeks earlier and it would be a lot less pressure. But then I don't feel like you get, in my experience, the best result.
And I feel like if you wrote it 4 weeks ago, then you would still come to it on Thursday and you'd be like, what was I thinking? I'm going to rewrite this whole thing.
Right?
So why would you write it 4 weeks ago?
Yeah. Let's just get it done right when it needs to be done.
Agree. 100% agree. I love that you know your process, and it's not mine. And I can't wait to hear what you got to say on Monday.
I know. It's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing. Julian, your team has had a really big transition the past 12 months with bringing on new people moving to new positions, stuff like that. And from the outside, again, it's looked just like so much smoother than it should. Like it looks like y'all stepped in with this new team on day one and we're just operating at 100%, operating like you'd been working together for years and doing this for years.
Yeah.
One, is that true? And two, what's kind of the secret sauce for the way you built this team and you have your current team right now that y'all could operate at such a high level so quickly?
I don't know.
Like you need to know.
I am just as shook. Okay. I am literally just as shook as you are. Like they are just amazing. Well, and I think part of it was that it was two team members who had already been with me.
Okay.
That I think is what made it look the easiest, frankly, is that it was already two people who knew my process and like knew exactly what they were doing and like could just keep the baseline of everything running like exactly like it was supposed to. Right.
Okay. Huge.
And allow time for the other two new members who had never worked with me to learn their jobs very quickly and like jump in and do what was necessary.
Yeah.
And I think it also was taking a lot of time before we got to that place of like writing some very clear job descriptions and making sure everyone knew like exactly what role they were going to fit into so that when they got into that role, it was more clearly defined for them. And then also like hiring the right people to fill those seats, right? Like very specifically with a very specific set of qualifications and experience that were just so helpful. Like one specifically kind of came from hotels and so understood like the seat that I had sat in before. So if like you've done that job before, like I know exactly what your skill set is. Like I know
I know what you've been through. I know your trauma.
You've been through it all. Like welcome. Like, here we are. And then the other new person, so that was Elisa, who she came from hotels. And then Kate also came on, and she came from a rental background and was going into a job that like involved a lot of rentals. And so she understood that world. She understood like what the asks are that you can make and where people need us to help them make it better on our side, and how we can be more communicative and how we can be more straightforward and with our approach to be as best as we can be, you know? And then there was like a renewed excitement for Grace. She kind of moved into a new role where she had been doing some design before, and then now is like the lead designer, and stepped into that role and like had already been helping to develop some of those processes, and we just got to develop some more, you know? And so it worked nicely. And then we have Julie, who stayed in the same job and who's just like keeping the lights on and the trains running and the contracts moving and like
huge, keeping
the flow happening. And so
everyone needs Julie. Everyone needs a Julie.
Everyone needs a Julie. Like life would not happen without Julie. So, so it's been fun. I think we looked up earlier this month and we were like, has it really we've only been together for like 6 months? And
I didn't realize it'd been that short.
Yeah, it's only been since January.
Wow. Julian, wow.
Yeah. It's like flying. It's cool. It's been so fun to watch. Wow. And like everybody loved their job so much, and everybody be like so freaking excited about it and like doing what's necessary to learn it. And like the crash course has been real, but they have like flown. And like this team could do anything now, you know?
Wow.
I'm so impressed and so humbled and so grateful. And they've just served the clients so well. It's been so great. I mean, I thought it was great before. And then like now it's even greater. Like, and that's the story of this whole business, right? Like that's the whole freaking story is like, you start and you think like, okay, I can do this by myself. And then you add more people, and then you add more people, and then you add more people. And then you're like, okay, this is amazing. And like, what can we do as a cool team? You know, I was listening to this podcast this morning. It's called Intersections. There's like a former mayor hosts it with this other gentleman, and it's kind of multi-generational. And they bring on people from every different walk of life, like civically and from a business perspective, to kind of like tell their story about like how they got started and what they do. And this morning's was this lovely woman. Her name's Elaine Agatha, and she's like the global vice chair of JP Morgan Chase. And she's been with Chase.
Casual.
Yeah, exactly. In Texas for like decades, right? And like through all these mergers and all these things. And like she literally, they were like, well, what's the secret to your success? You know? And she was like, she has Elaine's 8. Okay. She has like these 8 little mantras that she follows. But one of them was really just always say yes.
Huh.
And that's the first one, right? Elaine's 8. Always say yes.
Always
no
say
matter
yes.
what it is, right? She was telling a story. She was like, I was working at this bank before we merged with JP Morgan, and they came to me and they said, Elaine, we're going to do a new private bank and we would like you to run it. And she said, yes, of course. What is a private bank? Right? And so it's like that kind of attitude, I think, that has made this business over the years successful, right?
Yeah.
Is, okay, cool. What is that? Like, yes, we'll do it. Not a problem. How we're going to do it?
How?
Unclear. You know?
No idea. Yeah.
Unclear. And so I think it's been fun to have that like level of energy and excitement about my business again, of like, okay, well, how are we going to do this? Because we kind of changed the structure a little bit.
Yeah.
And then also with like this other business, LOO, right? Is like, I feel like I'm in year 10 in one business and I'm in year 1 in the other, you know? And
which
so
did,
like,
y'all announce LOO, was it about the same timing? Was it about January?
It really like started pushing in January, yes. But I've been working on LOO since 2020.
Unbelievable.
Which is kind of wild, you know?
Yeah.
And so for those of you who don't know what LOO is,
break it
it's
down.
not a restroom trailer, okay, friends? But it's basically a power solution. It is a next gen power solution that is silent and basically green and friendly for the earth. And it started out very much as like, okay, how could we make like a next generation generator? Right. And it's evolved to be a lot more than like this idea of a generator. It's more about how do we distribute power? How do we distribute power in an even, consistent way and like solve for some very, very specific situations in specific industries. And we started with the event industry because obviously I have a lot of background in the event industry. Right.
Yes.
And so I knew generators are loud, right? And noisy, and they're distracting, and you can't really put them near a tent. You have to put them like over the hill and through the woods as far as possible because they're so freaking loud, right?
Yeah.
I also knew that generators were like just nasty to stand next to, right? CO2 is like spewing out of them. And where they always put them, they put them next to the restroom trailer, right? So your whole guest experience piece of things was just like loud and smelly, basically. Like that's a horrible situation. So how do we solve for that? And also, how do we solve for this fluctuating price in the commodity of diesel gasoline, right? How do we solve for that? And so that's kind of where this idea came about. But yeah, it's like in the scrappy stages, you know, and I'm loving that. It's evolving constantly. Like it started out as a trailer and now like as of this weekend, we actually tested a product that can fly on an airplane and we can literally take the power source, fly it on the airplane with us, arrive at a location, plug it into, right now we're using Tesla Cybertrucks and plug it into a Cybertruck and it can literally power an entire event, right? Like there's some pretty wild stuff going on in the little power world. Like we kind of have these different iterations. It's pretty wild, Kevin.
I just recently listened to your podcast talking about LOO. So I feel like I just heard you talk it through, which I'm going to link to it in the show notes. So if you're hearing me say this, like, I want to hear that. I'll put a link to that episode in the show notes.
Yeah, thank you. But and even the technology in that podcast is outdated now.
I was going to say, this little thing, it was not in it.
No, it wasn't in it because we keep like iterating on it. And it's pretty wild. You know, it's pretty, I think for us, we've just been in this place of like, okay, what is actually working? What is going to be the most efficient? What is the way that we can disrupt the system the most? And like, let's just keep iterating on that. And so we tried out actually just this weekend, like 2 different versions of this. One can be flown and one has to still be driven, but is a much more compact unit that actually fits within a truck and can be driven in the truck and can power like a lot of stuff, you guys. Like we were my call this morning to get diarrhea was like, holy shit. Like
that.
Wow.
I mean, are you realistically saying like, I mean, I know a wedding in the middle of nowhere will have 2 or 3 or 4 generators there.
Mm-hmm.
And are those either like immediately or soon to be replaceable by what? It sounds like what you're putting in a checked bag?
Yeah.
This sounds like science fiction, Julian.
I know. It's really wild. It's like really wild.
Okay.
And like, yes, a checked bag and also, right, like it does still require
the cyber
help.
Yeah.
And of course, all of the cables to distribute the power, right? So yes, but the actual component that is needed, yes, can fit in a checked bag, can fly.
Julian.
Yeah. And then guess what, friend? The other thing that like we solved for was the air conditioning.
Okay. You teased this in the podcast at the very end. And I'm like, I haven't heard anything since. I was going to ask you about that.
Oh, yeah. And you'll see the air conditioning. And if you're listening and you're also going to WIPACon, you will actually see the air conditioning in action on the first or the second night's parties. So it's going to actually power and do the air conditioning for the event that Kate Turner is doing.
Wow. Julian, I
wild.
never thought that the air conditioning for the Monday night event would be like maybe top 5 things I'm excited for about WIPACon.
Yeah.
It's like, we get to see.
Yeah.
I got to see this, like the AC of the future.
It is. It is the AC of the future. It's the power of the future. It's really the direction that this is all going. And so we've just been iterating and figuring out how it all works. And it just keeps working again and again and again and again. And that's kind of pretty amazing. And like to geek out about it a little bit, like the very
this is a safe place. This is a safe place to geek it out.
Geek out. Okay? Like these are our people. We're all going to geek out.
No judgment zone. Yeah.
I think the thing that has been the most shocking to me is where actually most of the power is lost in the traditional system. And that is that every generator is basically built to run your power in 3-phase power. Whereas every piece of equipment that you're using is actually intended to be run on 2-phase power. And so there is this interesting like inverter situation that has to happen to switch it from 3-phase to 2-phase. And so there's a lot of power lost in that process. And so what we have done is like, we have a solution that it can run 3-phase if it absolutely had to, but it's actually unnecessary for us to run it in 3-phase. We can run everything in 2-phase, and it's much cleaner and just very even power. Yeah.
Wow.
I've learned a lot about power in the last 6 years.
I bet. This is unbelievable. The visual just came to mind. I mean, as you're talking, I worked a wedding in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yep.
And I distinctly remember, I mean, the tent was running. It was great, incredible wedding. But I remember if I went out one side of the tent, it was where the mobile restroom was and the generator was. And like you said, it was just noisy and it was white. No, I mean, it was just unpleasant on that side. But if you walk to the other side, like out the other side of the tent, guests were out there just like looking at the stars. This is like during open dancing. They're just like snuck away with a cocktail, enjoying the stars. Like how different those two sides of this one tent were.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. I can already, just that visual in my brain. It's like, wow, that would make, until you spoke of LOO, like I wouldn't have thought of like, oh, that would be a big improvement for it, but it would be huge.
Yeah, it's massive. And also now you can put the power right next to the tent. And the real reason why we needed, like the real reason why you really needed like the 3-way part, like was because of this, of the distance you had to put it away. Right? So because it's so loud and because it smells, you need to put it far away. And so the only way to power the power to push it all the way was really the 3-phase power as opposed to 2-phase.
Yeah.
And now you can put it right next to it. There's no smell. There's no noise. There's literally nothing. It's virtually silent. And so there you go.
Julian, I love hearing you geek out about this.
It's so fun.
I feel like I see you come alive in such a different way.
Like so amazing. I was like, oh my God, like it worked. It worked in both these places. It worked in 2 different iterations. It's like, it's so cool to see it like just operate in that way, you know?
Wow.
And then we actually launched the air conditioning in early June. And so on an event in Florida in the nasty heat in a like open air tent with like a clear top, like what on earth is that even? And it did so well, and it was just silent, and it was in a kind of a tricky place to have it installed. And so the beauty of the solution that we have in terms of the HVAC is that it's individual units that could be carried if necessary to a location. So if you're in someone's backyard and you can't lift like this massive crane over the top of the gate and like it's mobile, it's much more modular. It's a totally different way of doing things.
Wow.
I'm so excited.
That is so cool.
It's so cool.
I can tell you are. I'm excited to see it. I'm not even a part of this. You've been dreaming about this for 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm hearing about it for
like for 6 months, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's like,
6
okay, what is
months.
this? But I'm like, yeah, it's like we're here, So it's cool. But I think like what's been great about that is like the energy from needing to be scrappy and stay innovative in this space over here on the loose side has greatly benefited and reminded me about how I built Julian Lever events, right? Because it was like all about tinkering, right? I always say I'm a tinkerer. I'm like, just adjusting this thing or that thing or this other little thing. And our good friend Persephone, she would be like, what are you even talking about? What does that even mean, Lynn? And I'm like, well, this is what it means. It means like I'm looking at the marketing strategy and like I'm looking at the data and I'm looking at like, how is this one thing performing? Okay, great. How can we enhance that one little tiny thing? How can we make it just a little tiny bit better? How can we push just a little bit further to make it be what it needs to be and be more successful and serve the client in a better way? And so that's the way. That's why this job is interesting after, like, yes, 10 years of Julian Lever events, but really like 25 years in the wedding industry. Like, how do you keep it interesting? How do you keep yourself engaged? How do you still have fear of failure, right? Like, there's still fear of failure in all of this, of just like, how do you stay in that place where you are looking at things kind of like from a seeking standpoint, as opposed to like, I know everything and like, I'm not changing anything.
That's the big question. And it sounds like it's what you're saying of like these little the little tinkering every day, the little move here every day.
You move it here, you have a conversation there, you take that piece of knowledge and you shift it, right? Like that's how you keep it interesting, right? You also like challenge yourself to like really listen to what the client is saying when they're saying no. What are they saying? Are they saying in their tone? Are they saying it's about the specific thing? Is it about like the actual product? It very rarely is. It's more about like a family dynamic. It's more about something that's that you need to uncover and figure out how to get to a yes. And so it's all of those little things, as long as you are like, your stance is open and your arms are wide and not crossed and not like involving ego. If you can just stay open, then all of these cool things keep coming to you and you sort out where they go.
Wow. Julian, it is somehow already been almost an hour that we've been on this call together. I like checked up thinking it'd be like 30 minutes, 57 minutes. We're there. I've said it a couple times in different ways, but there's getting this time with you. There's just like an excitement that you build in me for like the opportunity and the risk taking and the tweaking and the excellence that it's just a gift getting to talk to you. I really appreciate the time today. And between what you're doing with Julian Lever events and how you're building the team, between what you're doing with LOO and the risks you're taking and the science fiction life that you're living over there with Jacob and LOO, I mean, it's just unbelievable. I just can't wait to see what's next for you and can't wait to see you in person. Get to give you a hug in like 6 days.
I know. It's going to be so much fun.
Thanks again for the time. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for blessing our listeners with not only your experience, but your passion, your wisdom. And I don't know what could get me more fired up for being in the wedding industry and having WIPACon in a couple of days and getting to see you again. Thanks again for this time.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. Thank you. And thank you for like having this really cool, safe space to just like talk about all the things. I really appreciate it.
Wow. Thank you. Until next time.
I say if you don't like this music, you don't be listening to it. I'm just a dude that or something similar. If you don't keep it real, then you go somewhere but here, 'cause we're only losing control just for a minute.
That's it. We've never done a series like this. And we're at the end of it, the very first one. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. There's so many incredible people in this industry. And this was such a good excuse to bring on some of those incredible people who will be part of WIPACon onto this. So I hope you enjoyed it. For those who are listening and attending, I hope you enjoyed getting more excited about it. I hope there's more familiar faces while you're there. And I really do hope you'll come up and say hi and we'll get some time together. But that is it for this week. I'm going to sign out. Thank you so much for listening and tune in next time for the next episode of the Texas Wedding Podcast.